Change your diet, change your life, change the planet.
Okay, so the question is, what advice would you give to someone that is just getting started with all of this?
With all of this meaning diet or diet and training, or what does all of this look like?
She just became vegan 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. The real challenges that keep coming up for me and most of the people that I talk with or work with, it's not the diet itself. It's how the diet is perceived. That's really the biggest challenge. That's the biggest hurdle to get around. We have our own brainwashing. There were a lot of times when I started out running, when I was doing the Running Raw project in those first few years, where I really doubted that I was getting enough protein. I wasn't sure because I'd been part of that cultural brainwashing. And back when I was an athlete in my late teens, I was doing lots of protein supplements, and I was doing all kinds of gland products and all kinds of crazy crap and creatine and everything else because I wanted every edge I could take. So, fast forward 15, 16 years into the future, and part of my brain is saying, well, can I do it without those things? Is this diet enough? I don't know. Am I getting enough protein? I am, and there's no evidence to show me the contrary, but yet those doubts were still there, and those doubts stayed there for a couple of years. It's only maybe the past 3 or 4 years that I'm really confident with this diet. Even though I had the data, even though the data was right there, I still had doubts. Well, what if it doesn't work for me? What if I'm different somehow? So it's really about overcoming your own cultural brainwashing and then dealing with your friends and family and lovers, spouses, whatever it may be, who are going to have cultural programming as well that you're going to have to deal with. And you're going to have to continually answer the question, where do you get your protein? And where do you get your EFAs? And where do you get this? And where do you get that? And how do you get your calcium? And what about your B12? And we're constantly bombarded with these things. If you're eating a wide variety of fruits and vegetables and some nuts and seeds, you're getting the most nutrient-dense diet on the planet. No standard American diet can compete as far as nutrient density goes, as far as the wide variety of vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients and fibers. You can't compete on those diets. But yet the people eating those diets believe that somehow their diet is superior without any evidence to support it. But it's this cultural virus that everybody has, that they're eating the deficient diet, but clearly the vegans and the raw foodists, those are the people that are deficient. It's like smokers telling people that they're deficient in oxygen because they're breathing clean air. It's like, how could you get enough oxygen? You're breathing clean air. You need cigarettes to get oxygen. Kind of, what's going on? You get all these people that are eating a horrible diet, which is heavily supplemented. They're like, oh, you can't be vegan because you need B12, and that just shows that veganism doesn't work. Well, that's interesting because your milk has vitamin D added. Your flour products have niacin, riboflavin, thiamine, and reduced iron added to them. And on and on and on. All of the products that you're eating are heavily supplemented. Your diet doesn't work. In fact, your diet, heavily supplemented, still leads to heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and on and on and on. So the government tried to fix your diet by adding lots of supplements to it, mandating that these foods be supplemented, and you're still falling apart. But yet they believe somehow that we're the ones that are deficient. It just doesn't make sense. But this is what we have to deal with. We have to deal with a culture that doesn't make sense, that's going to alienate us, and that's going to attack us, and it's going to make us question ourselves. So if you're eating a wide variety of foods and a wide variety of flavors and textures, you're going to be okay. And maybe you want to take some vitamin B12. Maybe you want to take some vitamin D. That's up to you. Do your research. Get your blood tested. But even so, no big deal. You're going to be healthy. It's really about dealing with the emotional stuff, dealing with the cultural stuff. That's the biggest hurdle. So, my advice is never defend yourself. Just smile, nod, make a joke about it, but don't defend yourself because you can't win that conversation because it's not a rational conversation.